Okay, here we are back again with more Dragon Age Origins. And I think we should probably talk to some people. Let's see if Shell has something to say after doing her quest.
I am listening.
Maybe not. Let's go talk to Wynn. I want to talk to Wynn. I haven't talked to Wynn in a while.
What's on your mind?
Do you have any regrets at all?
I try not to dwell too much on the mistakes of my past, of which there are many. I would go quite mad if I did that. But I do have one regret. The greatest misstep of my life, made even more grave because it had dire consequences for someone else.
What did you do?
Years ago, I was assigned as mentor to a lad, Anarin. He was my first apprentice. Anarin was an elf, raised in one of the elven alienages, and he was very mistrustful of humans, especially humans in authority.
I can see how this could be trouble.
What Anarin needed was time. Time to get used to his new home, time to emerge from his shell, so we could build a rapport. I gave him no such time. I was young and arrogant. He is a mage, I thought. He needs to grow up and act like one. I expected too much from him, too quickly. I gave no consideration to his origin or his feelings, and he retreated further from me. All I could think of was how stubborn he was, how he was throwing away all his talent and his potential, just to be difficult.
That just seems so unlike you.
Oh, age and wisdom have mellowed me. I was quite different back then. Much more unforgiving. You cannot plant crops in the cold, wintry ground. You cannot teach a student who is closed off and unresponsive. Patience is what is needed, and I learned that too late to help him.
What happened to Anarin?
Anarin ran away from the circle one night. I had berated him over some trivial, ridiculous matter that I no longer remember. I drove him away because of something utterly unimportant. He was a child, 14 at the time of his leaving. They had his phylactery, and they hunted him down.
Why didn't they just bring him back to the tower?
They called him Maleficar, a mage who practices forbidden magic, deserving of death. He was a child, misunderstood and lost. I begged the Templars to tell me if he suffered, if they gave him a quick death. I got no answers from them. I was his mentor, and they wouldn't even tell me what became of him.
It's not your fault, Wynn. That was cruel of them.
I should have known better. I had the best mentors. They were kind, compassionate. Why didn't I learn from them? I failed Anarin. All I had to do was listen to him. He would try to talk to me, and I would tell him to concentrate on his spells. He talked about the alienage sometimes, and the Dalish. He always talked about looking for the Dalish elves.
Maybe he did find the Dalish.
The Templars are well trained and thorough. That he still lives, it would be a vain hope. The apprentices that came after Anarin benefited greatly from the lessons I learned from him. In a sense, he was my teacher, and I his student.
Then maybe his sacrifice was worthwhile.
And there it is. My story, my one greatest regret.
Okay, fair enough, and that gave me a quest, so that's good. I haven't talked to Alistair in a while, maybe I should do that.
Your desire is my command.
Questions?
Of course.
Why did you keep your birthright a secret?
You never asked?
Well, I'm just hurt that you didn't trust me.
No, please don't think that. It's not that I didn't trust you. It's... Please, let me try to explain. The thing is, I'm used to not telling anyone who didn't already know. It was always a secret. Even Duncan was the only Grey Warden who knew. And then after the battle, when I should have told you, I don't know, it seemed like it was too late by then. How do you just tell someone that?
How about, by the way, I'm the heir to the throne?
Yes, well, I suppose part of me kind of liked you not knowing.
Why? What happens when people find out?
They treat me differently. I become the bastard prince to them, instead of just Alistair. I know that must sound stupid to you, but I hate that it shaped my entire life. I never wanted it, and I certainly don't want to be king. The very idea of it terrifies me.
No, it doesn't sound stupid at all. Like, I think, on this point, Ariadne can probably relate a little bit. Like, having something that she didn't choose shape her entire life. Yeah, that sounds familiar. It doesn't sound stupid at all.
For all the good it does me, my blood seems certain to haunt me no matter what I do. And now Arleman plans to put me forward as the heir. It never ends, does it? For what it's worth, I'm sorry for not telling you sooner. I guess I was just hoping that you would like me for who I am. It was a dumb thing to do.
Don't worry about it, Alistair. No harm done.
I guess it's kind of a relief that you know now. Let's go.
Really? You're still not at max? I can't believe you're still not at max, dude.
Something you need, my dear? Of course.
Let's questions. Why have you remained a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
In that case, you should have become a mage.
Oh, you aren't kidding. I think the Templar uniforms are as colourful as they are just so the Templars didn't feel dull in comparison. Last thing you want when you're about to take down some Maleficar out in the woods is to have him point and laugh at your taste in clothing, am I right?
Do all Templars make these... I mean, she knows that Templars don't usually do that. And what's the real reason?
You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
I do really want to know, yes.
Poke, poke, poke. Tell me everything about your life, Alistair. All right, if you insist. It's not like we have anything better to do, right?
I mean, it's either that or
The
kiss
truth
you
of the matter
again.
is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Arleman had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
What did you enjoy about the training?
The education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my home is with the Grey Wardens now. With you.
Really? I guess I like the sound of that. We won't
Aw,
always be
cute.
traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
They can be rebuilt.
I suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now.
Nah, we don't need to do that. I mean, really? Nah, we don't need to do that.
Something you need, my dear?
Let's
course.
ask some more questions. So what changes about you after the joining?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden?
Yeah, I mean, what changes physically?
You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see."
He wouldn't tell you?
Oh, it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret. It's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy. When I'd look up, the other Grey Wardens would stare, then laugh themselves to tears.
Nah, she probably has. So it was a joke?
More like an initiation. They all went through it too. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
Nightmares. Yes, I know what you mean.
Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare. Others have trouble sleeping their entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we?
No.
Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take.
Great.
But taint. It's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
So I'm going to die.
We're all going to die. When Duncan told me, I was angry. He put his hand on my shoulder and said this. It's not how you die that's important. It's how you live. And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. And there you have it.
It seems a high price to pay. Yeah, a death sentence.
I suppose it is. We're the only ones who can stop the blight, however. Is there a price too high to pay for that? You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I guess he got what he wanted. I just wish it had been something worthy of him.
He will be remembered, Alistair, as will the others.
I know. Ending the blight should make this all worthwhile, right?
Probably. Look at that. Oh, we're so close.
Something you need, my dear?
Oh, yes.
Of course.
What was it like to be a Grey Warden with all the others?
I didn't know them for very long. But I guess it was longer than you.
Yeah, since I knew him about
You
2
never met them all,
seconds.
did you? They
No,
were
I
quite a
didn't.
Actually, they felt like an extended family since we were all cut off from our former lives. We also laughed more than you'd think. There was this one time... Well, you probably don't want to hear stories about men you didn't know.
No, I'd like to hear about them.
There was one Grey Warden who came all the way from the Anderfells. What was his name? Gregor. He was a burly man with the biggest, fuzziest beard you've ever seen. And the man could drink. He drank all the time, but he never got drunk. Finally, we all made a pool to see just how many pints it would take to put him under the table.
Sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Sometimes. We were kin of a sort. All of us had gone through the joining, so we knew... Well, anyhow, it doesn't have to be deadly serious all the time. Anyhow, we never did find out. He said he'd drink a pint for every half pint that the rest of us drank. He was still going by the time the rest of us were passed out. I'm told that Duncan walked in later on and saw us all passed out from one end of the hall to the other, and Gregor still drinking. Duncan laughed until he nearly... Until...
I'm sorry, this must be hard for you.
Yes, I suppose so. I thought I was done with this, but it just struck me that I have nothing to remember Duncan by. Nothing at all. There's no body, not even a token of his that I could take with me. That must sound really stupid to you.
Not at all.
I just would have liked something of his to take with me, that's all. Well, there's no use in moaning about it, is there? He's gone. Let's just go.
Okay, sure. I think it might be almost maxed. Oh, guys, so close to max out. Okay, fine. Sure. Let's talk to Zeb.
What say you?
Care to answer some questions?
By all means.
Do you actually enjoy being an assassin?
And why not? There are many things to enjoy about being a crow in Antiva. You are respected, you are feared, the authorities go out of their way to overlook your trespasses, even the rewards are nothing to turn your nose up at. As for the killing part, well, some people simply need assassinating. Or do you disagree?
You've never killed an innocent?
Now there's an interesting word, innocent. How many men do you know who can claim to be truly innocent? But if you're talking generalities, such as children and relatives and bystanders and such, never on purpose. But it happens. It's unfortunate, but death comes to us all. If not me, then some wasting disease, or a fall down the stairs, or at the hands of a darkspawn. It's all relative in the end.
That sounds like an excuse.
Death happens, as we like to say, and when I get paid for it, death happens more often. As far as enjoying the act of killing itself, why not? There is a certain artistry to the deed, the pleasure of sinking your blade into their flesh and knowing that their life is in your hands.
I don't know that Ariadne knows exactly how that is, given that she's a mage. She's never had to wield a blade before, literally, but on the other hand, I think there is a certain kind of satisfaction in sort of watching Darkspawn just, you know, being able to wave her hands and seeing the Darkspawn just flop over dead. So I think she could say with some amount of honesty that she knows what he means.
There are many things I did not enjoy about being a crow, of course. Having no choice, being treated as an expendable commodity, the rules, oh, so many rules. But simply being an assassin, I like it just fine. I will continue to do it if I can, even if I am not a crow. Honestly, could you picture me doing something else?
Why not? You can do whatever you like.
Whereas I am content merely doing what I happen to be good at. It's a talent that not many come by, honestly. I don't see why I need not pursue it. Of course, all these thoughts are moot. Chances are still good that you and I will perish, eaten by darkspawn or slain by the crows at some point. Very gruesomely, I imagine. But it is pleasant enough to chat about. Come, let's move on while our boots still have some wear in them.
Okay, sure. Oh, I got Zevran up a little higher. That's good. That's definitely good. Let's talk to Ogren.
I got a moment, sure.
I'd like to know more about you.
What about?
Oh, maybe not.
All right. All right then.
Maybe not. Lils.
Do you remember our discussion?
Yes, of course.
I just wanted to tell you that I thought about what you told me, and you were right.
Oh?
Despite what Marjolaine says, I am not like her.
Good.
I know that now. I found peace in knowing the Maker, and nothing will change that. I followed you to make the world a better place, and as long as I keep that in mind, I will not fall. Sometimes it takes another to show us the truths we hide from ourselves.
It was my pleasure.
I'm glad I left Lothering in your company. You have proven a true friend, and I thank the Maker for you.
Aw. I'm glad. I'm glad. Good, good. I'm happy. I'm happy if you're happy. I just want everybody to be happy. Even Sten.
You called.
I have a question?
I am hardly surprised.
I already asked him that, I'm pretty sure. That's kind of a
As you wish.
standard thing. Yes. Sten is pretty good. Alistair's very good. Zevran's getting there. Of course, Barkspawn is always there. Ogren's getting there. Shale's pretty good. Lils is pretty much maxed, yep. Liliana's maxed. Wynn, she's getting there. Morgan is maxed. I love that Morgan is maxed. Like, I don't know why I find Morgan so easy to max out, even though I play like someone who Morgan would probably despise, to be perfectly honest. But that's okay. But yeah. I did want to talk a little bit about, since we're sort of at the halfway point, about sort of the character that I'm playing and where I see her going. You may have noticed that once in a while I use blood magic, but not too terribly often. For someone who, you know, towards the beginning of the game was sort of pretty anti-blood magic and punished her best, you know, basically got her best friend, tattled on her best friend for, you know, supposedly using blood magic. She's now starting to use blood magic herself, which seems a little hypocritical, but I do see, like, over the course of the game that she becomes a little bit more, she softens a little bit on her stance toward blood magic, especially when it comes to ending the blight and the necessity of it, and sort of beginning to see the concept, beginning to understand the concept that Grey Wardens possibly can and should do whatever they feel is necessary to end the blight. And I think she's, as she's sort of being faced with the magnitude of what's before her, she's sort of softening a little bit on it and starting to do some things that she may not have otherwise done, because she finds herself in this situation. So I think that's really a big part of it, and I'll probably start to use blood magic a little bit more as we go on, especially towards the end of the game when we get to the sort of the climactic final battles of the game. She'll probably, you know, use more and more blood magic just because it is so powerful. From both just a practical gameplay standpoint, it is literally pretty powerful stuff, and you know, in universe, of course, it is also equally so. So that's where we stand, and so yeah, she's sort of beginning to soften a little bit on that. I don't know that she would necessarily prescribe blood magic for every mage ever, but she, you know, she in the way of a lot of people, she's sort of seeing that, you know, in my situation, it's okay if I use it because my situation is unique or whatever. So yeah, that's where we stand, and we're about out of time, so we'll leave it here. As always, if you like what you see, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Later!